All right, everybody, welcome back. This is the second semifinals of the night. We have Left Coast versus Shaman.
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 So we have a really good matchup. So we have Shaman, who is on Dino Pox. So Dino
Oh
Pox
boy.
is basically Pox, but like those Legends cards that everybody is like, oh, you have to run the Abyss, you have to run Chains, all that sort of stuff. They're like, nah, man, I got a 7/7 trampling Dino for 3. Or
Yeah, man. We're going
uh,
to the new age here, right? I mean, power
yeah,
creep is absolutely real.
Yeah, having just like a 7/6 Dino just able to slap your opponent every single turn. Who cares if you have to discard every single turn? You're playing Pox.
Right, you do that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But Left Coast is on the Bug Hogaak version, which I believe is the best version. Hedron Crab is just so powerful, least explosive turns. No crazy Lagaknot stuff like Phil was playing last weekend.
Yeah, shout
But
outs to Phil if you're watching. Hey, bud.
yeah, Phil Blackman came onto our stream and wowed everybody with his crazy freaking Lagaknok deck and slapping people with 12/12 Lazovs and stripping hands, and it was a great deck to watch play. I'm really glad we have him on. Good friend of the show.
Yeah,
Oh
but so, Left Coast is saying, you know what? Nah, I'm going back to my roots here. I got the Altar of Dementia. I got the classic Dredge All Star Bridge from Below.
yeah, so this is the pretty much stack list for Hogaak being able to combo kill as early as turn 2, I believe it is the fastest the deck can go off. No, it's pretty much like a consistent turn 3 deck. I've written about it a couple times. It is very good. The deck is just extremely resilient, honestly. And
Yes,
what I really like about it is it has a very streamlined sideboarding plan. Okay, is your opponent on what's we call it? Ley lines, bring in your Force of Vigors. Is your opponent
hmm
Reanimator? Bring in your Ley Lines of the Void. Is your opponent anything that's in between that's probably be running Surgical Extraction? Okay, I can convert to this kind of mid-range Thoughtseize, Abrupt Decay, rip apart your hand type stuff, and then beat you with an 8/8 that's for free and never ending and just
absolutely right. It's basically covered all of its bases, right? I mean, there you have
mhm.
it.
Yep. Okay. So we do have Left Coast starting off on the play, and it looks like. Do you know what starting hand sizes were? Did they both keep on 7?
Let's see. I think they both kept 7, yeah.
Uh, yeah. It looks like they both kept 7. Yep, 7/7. And we are finding Underground Sea, and I bet you this could be Hedron Crab. Oh no, Stitcher
Ah,
Supplier.
well,
Uh,
just as good
this
if you ask me.
Oh yeah, Stitcher Supplier is a phenomenal card, and when this card first got spoiled, I looked at it. I was like, "There's no way! Like what? Free
Mhm.
1 mana slam? Just fill up your graveyard for 3, and it's also amazing with Cabal Therapy.
Oh
Like
yeah.
this was gonna find a home in Legacy, and of course, like around that same time is when Hogaak got printed in Modern Horizons, and people were just like, "Well, if you're gonna force me to play graveyard shenanigans, I'm not gonna say no."
Yeah, and as we've seen, right? I mean, there are several different versions that this plays, or that plays this Hogaak package. Wow. So most of these cards don't mind being in the graveyard. I'm going to assume that Inquisition is going to take Altar of Dementia here.
Alter Dementia, though, yeah, that's the key thing. So Alter is the only piece that, when it's placed into the graveyard, or doesn't benefit the deck at all. It's just pretty much just delve fuel for Hogaak.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And I mean, it's there now, right? I mean, it is obviously a part of the combo and can be very abusable and basically an alternate win con that doesn't require you to attack. So, I mean, getting rid of it is key, right? But at the same time, well, Hogaak might just come out and beat your face in, and that's that.
Yeah, and as powerful as Rotting Regisaur is, it is not really as powerful as something like Hogaak, which is an 8/8. So,
Sure.
like Chapman's
It
going
is
big, but Hogaak's just a
not
little
that
bigger than
big.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, Hogaak is a walking necropolis.
Yeah, and so really important here is Left Coast did fetch for the Dryad Arbor. So Dryad Arbor is specifically only in this deck just so that it can convoke out Hogaak. Because convoke says tap the creatures. It's not affected by summoning sickness. So it is a creature that you can fetch. And this is when Left Coast is realizing that they're playing against Pox. Oh wait, no, Left Coast already knew because it's open deck list.
Yep. But it looks like Liliana, the Veil, was named. So it looks like Left Coast sees that the coast is clear and is just going to jam that Hogaak in hand.
Yeah, and
You can't fatal push that.
can't fatal push that. All right, so let's see. So outside, okay, so Shaman still is still running a 3 of Murderous Riders that can easily kill a Hogaak.
Mm-hmm. Liliana,
Uh,
obviously, that was named. If you
well,
can
that can eat it.
at least get those off the other creatures off the board, yes.
And that being said, Shaman is running a 4 of Lily Triumph,
Yeah.
and you know, early on, that's not too bad, but oof,
No, but
yeah,
as we've seen, right, Hogaak loves to play these little creatures to sort of pad Hogaak from the edict effects. It's brilliant. It's the
yeah,
same reason people are playing things like Dryad Arbor and let's see, Elvish Reclaimer and things like that in depths.
yep, yep. I've
Really,
actually
at
I've
least
gotten got
that's one of the reasons.
I've gotten got a few times by crop rotation or a fetch in response to my edict for a Dryad Arbor. It gets you,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
and so oof, this is looking pretty bad. Chaman has to face down this 8/8, and
That's
outside
true.
of okay. So real question.
Sorry,
Okay, let's say
Kohler in chat says you can target the Hogaak with a fatal push. Dot 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 dot. You are correct,
yes, you can technically target it,
but it's
and
very hard to push an entire necropolis, right?
Hogaak is a avatar. It is very hard to push an avatar because the only other avatar I know is what's called Merit Lage, and you can't push that one either.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and we are seeing an altar. Is there a bridge in the graveyard? Is the real
Uh,
question.
there was one in his hand. I don't see one in the graveyard.
No, I don't think there's a bridge in the graveyard. I think the bridge is stuck in hand.
Anne says,
And
but why? Exactly, Anne. Why would you do that?
okay, yeah, and I mean alone, the Hogaak is going to finish up the game and barely even needs the combo kill. And we're seeing a careful study. So this is actually the one reason why I've been seeing the argument between Jund Hogaak versus Bug Hogaak is because the 1 mana version of throwing things into your yard, Faithless Looting is just inherently better than Careful Study.
Sure,
And
being able to have flashback, it's amazing.
exactly that flashback clause. But the problem is, and we are seeing a Mishra's Factory to soak up 2 points of damage.
I mean, hey, you got to do what you got to do, right? And at this
Yeah.
point, Left Coast doesn't have any of those weenies to sacrifice to an edict effect, so it's very possible that Shaman or Shaman, sorry about
Mhm.
that, however you say that, they could possibly have the edict in their hand.
Yeah. And importantly though, Chaman, when the Mishra's Factory dies, it does trigger the bridge to be exiled. So it's very hard for it to be to die to the combo kill now. So because you need at least 2 bridges in your graveyard in order for it to be a combo kill.
You said at least 2 bridges there?
Yeah, because you need to be able to generate a zombie and 2 zombies every single time you sacrifice the Hogaak in order to help convoke out the Hogaak. Underrated
Right,
card.
right, 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 right.
Yeah, and like I agree with you. Oh, I really do think it is an underrated card, especially in Legacy. Hey, but going Bug and having Hedron Crab versus Jund and having things like Pyroblast, I don't know. I really like the Bug version. But then again, I'm also a sucker for Bug. So Left Coast does get the win in game one. And so let's see what they have for sideboard games. So Chemon is going to be on the play, so let me read you their sideboard. So
Absolutely.
we got 2 Extirpate, which is basically the 1 mana version, 1 mana split second version of the Surgical Extraction.
Yes.
Two Bitter Blossoms, 2 Bantu's Last Reckoning, 1 Engineered Plague, 2 Force of Despair, 1 Liliana Last Hope, 2 Plague Engineer, 3 Leyline of the Void. What do you like here?
I'm gonna go ahead and say that the ley lines are gonna be good, right? I mean, it's
Oh
a
yeah.
graveyard
Oh
deck.
yeah.
So you're going to want to bring in those ley lines. And, the cool thing about this Dinopox list is that you can also hard cast them fairly quickly, right?
Yeah.
You do have
I
Dark
agree.
Rituals.
So Extirpate is one of those weird cards that I think is actually really good in this matchup. But the problem is it's a surgical effect against a Hogaak, which you convoke out and you cast. So you have to time your surgical effect well enough so that way you
Yes.
have priority for it. But yeah, I think there's enough things to cut that it's a smart to bring in. So I would bring in the 3 ley lines, the 2 Extirpate, and I would actually also bring in the 2 Force of Despair
Okay.
because if you're able to, when they're about to try and combo kill you, you can actually just wipe their board instantly.
Right.
And
Yeah, I do like
yeah,
that.
exactly. And there's enough bad cards here. I mean, you don't want to him this deck, so
I
you
was
can
just about to
cut.
say him is probably an immediate cut because that could just ruin your entire game plan and just
Oh
further
yeah,
there so fast. I mean, they kind of want that, right?
yeah. I really think cutting for him and 2 Last Hope, because that's not going to do anything in this matchup.
Yeah.
And I mean, even some number of the Lily of the Veil, and just bring in this huge graveyard / board hate presence that you
Yeah.
can just take out those key pieces as
Yep.
well.
And then you're just swinging with your Regisars, right? Yeah, that
Yeah,
sounds solid to
exactly,
me. And so
exactly.
moving
So
on to the Hogaak deck then, what do you think sounds good from this sideboard, right? The sideboard of the Hogaak deck is 1 Cabal Therapy, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Assassin's Trophy, 4 Force of Vigor, and 4 Leyline of the Void. We had briefly touched on this before. What do you think sounds good there?
honestly, so this this isn't a Force of Will deck. So I'm trying to think of the difference between if you want to bring in Assassin's Trophy versus Force of Vigor. It's open deck list, so you got everybody will see what it is. As I think you actually almost have to bring in at least actually no Abrupt Decay is not bad here because all of Gentleman's threats are 3 CMC or less. So I would bring in the 4 Force of Vigor and 2 Abrupt Decay because the Force of Vigor can take care of the hate piece as being the ley line, while the Abrupt Decay can clean up any one of the threats, which were all 3 mana or less.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. I
So
like that.
yeah, and honestly, there are I don't know. It's so hard to see what to cut when it comes to this Hogaak deck. Like I have an okay understanding about it, especially talking with Phil for as long as I have
Yeah.
about like the Hogaak shell, but he throws in the Legak version.
Yeah. Yeah, he was able to really give us some good information about these Hogaak decks and their inner workings. Yeah, being able to
Yeah,
interview him was a treat.
yeah. I think you just gotta basically just trim around the fat there. Not completely cut some of your combo, but understand that some of your combo needs to go because of the fact that you do have this. You have to deal with Leyline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and so it looks like Left Coast is keeping on 7. Oh no, both players are keeping on 7.
That's a good
So
sign.
if Chaman kept on 7, I think that's a sign Chaman's got to have some form of graveyard hate. Oh no, no opening ley line. So okay, we do see a basic swamp into Thoughtseize.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
I
the
am 100%.
targeted discard's pretty good.
Yeah. Crap. Two careful studies. Crap. You know,
Yeah, the redundancy.
I play a lot with discard, and this is a very redundant hand. I would take one of the careful studies as well, is what I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's, all the other choices are borderline bad, right?
Yeah, you can't, yeah, but you're still leaving him with a careful study in hand. Like left
Yeah.
be able to resolve at least one of these careful studies. But what's really important here is I think left coast has to keep the Hogaak in hand because as if left this is all open deck list. So I think left coast is going to need to keep the Hogaak in hand to play around extra pate. Because if Chairman is keeping on 7 but not putting a ley line into play on turn 0, gotta have an extra pate or something like that in hand.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, not seeing those ley lines is, whew, turns
Yeah.
this into a real game of Magic.
Oh, and we are seeing the drawn card was a Once Upon a Time. Man, that card being ripped off the top is so good because it's still free. Okay. Looks like Chairman has some fans in the chat. Welcome to the Paper Legacy League Finals. All those who are coming here for the first time, we stream every Tuesday and Saturday, and I really want to promote like Paper Legacy and having a good time. So if you're coming to see Chaman play, like definitely stick around. It's a good time for all to have. And
Yeah, welcome everybody.
we see the careful studying ditching Verdant and a Bloodghast. Oh, no way. Yeah, so it's great to see. So we do have a very large like international community. So like definitely awesome to see the Chile legacy community being represented here.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Chile. Welcome.
Yeah, definitely welcome. Yeah, steal that. Take that once upon a time with that Thoughtseize. Because none of the other threats are good to hit.
Yeah, same story, right? Ooh, but we're taking the Gravecrawler.
Well, it can't be cast and stuff like that. So what's really cool here is though Left Coast is going to be able to make a Hogaak next turn. So
Yeah.
if you notice, Left Coast did fetch with a Bloodstained Miner to get the Underground Sea, keeping the Misty Rainforest in hand in order to fetch for a Dryad Arbor, which will then bring back the Bloodghast and allow him to convoke out the Hogaak
Oh
from
yeah.
the.
Doc over here with the lines, man. You know it. You already know what's up.
I really like this deck. I played against it a couple of times, and I have to watch out for it because it's the bane of blue decks. It's just so good against blue decks,
Right,
and
which is why you see the sideboard is like, you know what? I'm not even going to bother with these fair blue decks. You just stomp all over them, right?
yeah, like the only thing you care about is honestly Storm. Storm, I think, is Hogaak's worst matchup.
That
But
makes
even
sense, right?
then,
It's just fast.
yeah, but even then, Hogaak is a Cabal Therapy deck.
Yes, right. And if you
Yeah.
catch them with their pants down, then boom, it's over just like that.
Yeah, and right here we see this Hogaak from the hand completely avoiding the graveyard.
Charble in chat says, I could beat Hogaak, sad
Well,
face. Well, you know, so could I.
Hogaak is
Come at me, Left Coast.
well. That's the thing is Charble. You run a not fair deck. You run a Lurin, dude.
I also did
Oh,
not enter into the league, so I really have no place to talk. They got here by their own merits, and hey, good on them.
Charble. Yeah,
Ooh,
you're.
we're seeing a classic Tombstalker coming out.
Yeah, that's good to see. So, oh, I mean, Tombstalker is still a great beater, but just Hogaak is so big.
Yeah.
And like, why did it have to be an 8/8 with trample? Like,
Because fire philosophy, man.
fire philosophy, yeah. This is the first time. Well, we had started to see the fire philosophy come into play, but like I think Hogaak was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh yeah, people were really concerned about Hogaak there for a minute, even in
Yeah.
Legacy.
Oh yeah, it's busted. But my
It's
love
certainly a force to be
goes to
reckoned
this
with.
Oxalis though. This deck is great. I love it. It is just great to see, and it's really sad that just Hogaak it goes bigger than a rotting Regisaur.
Hey, I
So
mean, you play what you love, right? And obviously,
damn
Shaman's
right.
deck is, I mean, it's come this far, right? So, despite any sort of shenanigans from the other side of the board, hey, they're here and they're here to play.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like the Tombstalker did yeah, block the blood gas, but land drop comes back, and also left coast has that instant speed once upon a time to dip around yeah, to dip around any sort of Thoughtseize effect or anything like that. Yeah, Prez as and oh oh, I don't know if I speak on behalf of the entire legacy community, the MTGPL legacy community. TGPL legacy community is very open with deck lists. We have a huge meta diversity, and honestly, any sort of deck really does can do well here if the pilot knows what they're doing. And Chaman bringing in this engineered plague, and I don't hate this either because getting the blood gas off the field and hitting all the vampires is not a bad thing to do because that's one extra what's it called piece that can't be used to convoke out of Hogaak. It's not a bad play.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, um, whenever there's a bridge, right? That's one less trigger for bridge, and one less trigger for the Altar of Dementia as well, right?
Yeah. It is one less trigger. It can
Just to
still
get it out of the way
trigger.
right now.
It still does trigger bridge from below. Just be able to like just constantly be bringing something back. So that is a downside to it. But at the
Sure,
same
but
time,
not this turn. It's not.
yeah. And it looks like Jetman is going to have the Tombstalker get eaten by the Hogaak. So Tombstalker is going to absorb up 5 of that and going down to 4. And we now see the powerful carrion feeder, who up
Oh
until this
boy.
point was like pretty much worthless until Hogaak was printed. And then now it's just like, well, that's just another big combo piece. Yeah, Prez. Hogaak is just massive. It's just such a big card. So we see Chaman. Castle has been huge for Pox though, from what I've seen.
Castle Lockwayne there.
Yeah, Castle Lockdwayne. Like that card is huge for it. And looks like we are seeing a Plague Engineer, and with it on the stack, Carrion Feeder is going to eat it, so it does survive the -1/-1. So I like what Shaman did here, actually. I really like this, because I've done this before, actually. One way of getting around the bridge from below is by having a double Plague Engineer style effect
Yes.
on zombie and able to just nuke their board of zombies. I have
Yes.
done that before, and it's pretty great when it does work out. Yeah, I did
Well,
that
so
too. Oh,
no,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Ivan.
I was just gonna say the whole idea of carry-on feeder plus Gravecrawler is actually really sick, right? Because you can, as long as you have one mana each time, you can just keep replaying it, right?
Mhm.
I actually have a buddy. It's not like Hogaak or anything, but I have a buddy that like swears by just playing zombies, right? Just zombie tribal, and that was one of the main things. So shout out to Matt Warner out there. Love you, brother. So I
Yeah,
mean, I wouldn't
and
say it's completely worthless, but it definitely shines through in this matchup.
oh, yeah, and so we see here Left Coast taking it 2-0. Jaman, you came out with mad respect from everybody in Chile. They all came out to support you. It's great to see. Hey,
Yup.
oh, it's great to see Pox out here, and mad respect making it this far or in the end of the league. Hey,
Yeah.
congratulations to Left Coast, though. So in the finals, we are going to have Slayer versus Left Coast. So this
Yes, we
is going to be
will.
a battle of pretty fast combo decks.
Oh yeah, we're gonna see degeneracy on degeneracy, and y'all better be ready for this.
Yeah, so we're going to take a short break, everybody, and we'll be right back.
We'll see you soon, folks.
Yeah.